Right.
That's something you get somebody to do who's got a job, who's got a family, who has other endeavors, who's out of their comfort zone, who's got to go through all these experiences. 2 a day is manageable. They can do that and not mess up their life. You get what I'm saying? And so it's something that's duplicatable, and all of a sudden that group goes to learn all that technology, and all of a sudden it goes another level, and all of a sudden you have 20 people, then 100 people doing it. That's what this business is about. It's not about a few people doing a lot, it's about a lot of people, as their kid said, doing a little bit. So 10 corporate commitments are designed for duplication. See, I want, every time I'm showing somebody business, or I'm showing somebody how to do business, I want them to say, I can do what you're doing. And if you complicate it, you think you're being smart. You might win the battle, but you lose the war. If you go out there and teach your people how to make these really elaborate presentations with their mouth, you might win the battle if you can do it. You lose the war, but it's not duplicatable. You want them doing something that's duplicatable, okay, that a lot of people can duplicate. And so the 10 core commitments is very simple. I'll go through them. The ones I like to talk about the most are 2 exposures a day. All of a sudden, you doing your 2 can turn into thousands. But you've got to do your 2 a day. There's something, I mean, I've watched this for years and years and decades. There's something in us that can sense if somebody's BSing. If they're doing it or not doing it. There's this alarm system in you. It's kind of like how a dog senses you. You know, you sense when you're afraid or not. If there's just something about if you're doing your 2 a day, you just get what's going on. And in your language, you can relate to people, and you can explain to people, and you can teach to people, and you empathize with people. But if you're telling people what to do, you don't have it. You've got to go through your 2 a day, learn how to do it, which is not that hard. Matter of fact, just if you're not that good at it, just go throw them at people the first couple of days. I mean that. Just go throw your CD at 2 people and run for the hills, okay? You'll do that for a few days, and go, that's kind of stupid. Maybe I should go hand them to me, and run for the hills. And then you'll come back, oh, that's kind of stupid. Maybe I should say hi, and run for the hills. You'll eventually, about 5, 6, 7 days, you'll start to like it. Okay? You'll start getting better at the process. But you just kind of have to go through that. The worst you've ever been, you get started. 2 exposures a day, the real results party, and 10 pages a day. Those are the 3 things I think are most important in there. There's a bunch of them, all 10 are important. But those are 3 that I think we got to master. We are a company that's driven by real results parties. I love market parties, but never at the expense of a real results party. This is a business in the neighborhoods, do real results parties. Okay? It's a business, doing 2 exposures, leads to real results parties. The reason I love 10 pages of good book a day is because I really believe this business, the most duplicatable way that you can duplicate a business is do everything third party. Third party is anything other than me. I want to anytime I'm showing business, showing opportunity, communicating, training, it's third party. I've always said my mouth is moving, I'm going to be pointing at something. I'm never talking. I never want to be the show, I want to be the commercial. I want to be the messenger, not the message. Third party, okay? So what we have done at this company, as good as anything I've ever seen, we have built a third-party machine. Everything you need to share the product is third party. There it is. They would believe me. People are going to believe a third-party presentation more than they believe you. Why would they believe somebody? They didn't, 1 week ago, you knew nothing about skincare, and all of a sudden you're talking about skincare. But if you hand them a beautiful brochure, that in their subconscious brain, 4-color brochure means real. Okay? In their subconscious brain, you yapping means alive, you know, or whatever, stupid, or whatever. You know what you're talking about. I'm serious. They're filtering you through their brain, okay? You have a beautiful brochure or a magazine or taking their website, it's third party, they believe in that, okay? So third party tools. So everything we do in this company, we got third party tools for the product, third party tools for the opportunity, third party tools for our training, everything's third party, and third party for communicating. All the communications people need, we have third party. All you got to become is a great messenger to get people to plug into the message. So that's why we have the 10 pages of good book a day, because you got to become a good messenger. See, people are attracted to your energy. Your energy comes from your philosophy. Philosophy is everything you know, how it affects you, how you hold it, and what you do with it. Your philosophy is created by books you read, tapes or CDs you listen to, or MP3 or whatever you listen to, okay? events you go to like this, and probably the most important thing, those who you associate with. Laws of association. You become the energy of the people you associate with. That's why you come to events like this. When you do that, you become a great messenger. That's why we have 10 pages of Good Book a day. Now, when you think about that, 10 pages of Good Book a day, that doesn't seem like a lot. But if you did that for 250 days a year, take off every other day, read for 2 days, take a day off, it's so tiring, okay? That's a negative joke. Facetious, okay? And so if you have 2 days, 10 days of Good Book a day, you have to take a day off because where you're out, that's still 250 days in a year. That's 2,500 pages. That's about 12 books. You got to read 12 good books. It can't be, you know, Madonna and Rodman hung out one time a basis. 12 good books, okay? And change your philosophy. Which when you do that, it shifts your attitude. And when your attitude shifts, the how will start to work. See, what most people do is they focus on, tell me how, tell me how, tell me how. The 10 core commitments is the how. That's the how. There will never be the hows because anybody can do the 10 core commitments. It's never the hows, it's how you do the hows. When the hows aren't working, you really need to look at the problem. It's the mirror. Look at you, and there's something in your energy. And that's normal. And how you fix that? And some people, when they show up in business, they got the energy the day they walk in. Because they've done the work before. Other people need to weed their garden. And that's why you're there for them, to help them go through that process. And it's the books you read, it's the tapes you listen to, it's the people you associate with, the events you go to will shift your philosophy. Philosophy is everything you know, how you hold it, and how it affects what you do. When you have a good philosophy, you have a good attitude. When you have a good attitude, the hows, the 10 core commitments, start to work. Okay, so it's not the hows, the 10 core commitments, anybody can do, it's how you do the hows. And so I wrote the 10 core commitments a long time ago, was driving along with them, but I started getting a little frustrated because I saw people who wanted to be successful, who did the 10 core commitments. I watched them do them very, very well, fail in business. And I saw this over and over. And so that's when I finally started working on a talk. This is a talk that eventually turns into the slide edge. But I'm going to tell you a story because it's an important story. And so, and I haven't told the story very detailed before, and I'll do it here. And so I was very frustrated because I knew the 10 core commitments would work. I'd seen them work in different languages, in different countries, with different products, in different companies. I knew they worked every single time. If somebody did it persistently, with a good attitude over a longer period of time. But it drove me crazy because I saw people that were doing them and it was working for them, failing. And I knew they had the wrong philosophy. They could do the how, but they had the wrong philosophy. And so I started writing down notes about how to teach people to do the little things, which is the 10 core commitments. Every one of them is little. They seem to make no difference because every one of them makes no difference when you do them. So they make no difference at all in act of doing them. If you just do them over and over and over and over and over and over with consistency and persistency over a longer period of time with a good attitude, the compounded effect would take off and they would start to work. Basically knowing that 80% of the work has to happen before you start feeling the results. So why would you stay in there long enough to make that happen? See, in a job, you have structure. You just stay there. In a franchise, you bought structure. Here you don't have structure. The slide edge was meant to be the philosophy that shifted your attitude, that kept doing the 10 core commitments consistently and persistently over a long period of time while your friends, family, and neighbors aren't supporting you. Everybody's telling you it's not working because it's not working yet. It's not supposed to. You're planting seeds and cultivating. It takes time to harvest and just keep going and going versus get distracted and look at other ways to do the business or look at other opportunities or quitting on yourself because your subconscious brain says, I can't do this.
Woo!
Okay? And so I started driving, working on it. I started writing it down. Went set, Mountain Shadows Resort in Scottsdale, Arizona for 4 days and wrote it all out finally one time. I drew the line, drew the chart, went back. I got a big board in my office. I wrote it all over the board and I just looked at it for like months, like trying to figure it out myself. Finally, the word I came up with the word right edge. Okay, eventually I changed it to slide edge. And it came to slide edge. I started writing. I wrote it into like about 120-page little manual, and I started giving it to all my distributors. And all of a sudden the business started going. I started training it to the people, and the business started getting bigger and bigger and better and better. But people started coming back and saying, it's not just changing my business, changing that, and that's why I wrote the book. I'm not here to push the book at all. I have never pushed the book. It's only been sold from one address, okay? And we sold millions around the world because it's organic, because it works, okay? Have you heard the story about Iowa football team?
Yeah.
You heard the story about the Iowa football team? Good. This is the coolest story in the world. Robert Cratch, who is one of our NMDs, he was just a big puppy dog. But he played, he was Big Ten in Iowa. Just bear with me, it's a side story, okay? And I was in the Big Ten with Ohio State, Michigan State, so a big conference, Iowa. And he played for them back when, and he was all conference. He got drafted, and he played for the Super Bowl at the New York Giants when they won the Super Bowl. He's an offensive tackle. And then he went to
Patriots.
He played the Super Bowl. His last game against Green Bay, they lost. He's played 2 Super Bowls, got 1 Super Bowl ring. That's who he is, okay? 2 years ago, he's talking to the coach at Iowa, who knows him because he's big. He's on the Wall of Fame there, and he the Slide Edge is the book he says that saved his life, okay? Because he was making some bad decisions, and so he's really fanatic about the book. So he gave the book to the coach. And the coach had the book, and the coach last year, they had a terrible season. And in this season, the coach was sitting in his office, the season was over, he was just like, bleh, dismayed. Saw the book, remembered Robert Cratch gave it to him and said it changed his life. He got the book and he read it. He goes, this is a good book. So he bought 75 of them, gave them to every one of his players last summer. And after every workout session this summer, they would read the book together. He took 20 players and he signed them the task of teaching a section of the book to the team. 4 games in, they're 4-0. This is a team that couldn't win a game the year before. And the media started interviewing, going, what's going on? And every player goes, it's the Slide Edge. We just started working out a little bit harder. We started eating a little bit better. We started sleeping. They went 11-0 and lost by 1 second the championship game against Michigan State. Remember that? I mean, the guy just got the ball over in the last second where they win the game. They ended up at 12-0. The only thing that changed in that team wasn't the hows. It was how they did that hows. The team changed its philosophy. And they interviewed all the players. That's why they beat Ohio State, I think it was. And everybody's interviewing the player. The guy says, we beat him with the Slide Edge, right on national TV, the ESPN. But what's so cool is when you watch the announcers announce the game, because they became my favorite team, obviously. We saw them announce the game. Here's what the announcers kept saying. They don't have, you see, in football, you rate these kids coming out of high school at 1 star to 5 star. 5 stars is a stud. 1 star is okay. They said these guys have no 4 or 5 star players. There's a bunch of 1 and 2, 3 star players. There's just a bunch of people that nobody else wanted. And they're beating all the 4 or 5 star players who are better at the hows than them. Who are bigger than them, or better than them, higher recruited than them, but they had a better philosophy. People, if I've ever seen a demonstration of a team in 1 year, which what I'm trying to say is you can change your life in 1 year, because all they did is they didn't change anything. They didn't change the playbook. They didn't change the players. They didn't change the coaches. They didn't change the teams they're playing. They changed their philosophy, which shifted their attitude, and all of a sudden the plays worked better. All of a sudden everything worked better. I'm telling you, when you get that, people don't want to hear that, but when you get that, when you have the right philosophy, all of a sudden the actions start to work better. So that's why I wrote the Slide Edge. And the Slide Edge is about a philosophy built to drive the 10 core commandments, which is the how. That you'll do the little things, which is the 10 core, they're all little. And you'll do them consistently, persistently, with a good attitude, over and over and over and over, with desire and faith, with your friends, family, neighbors are against you, and over and over. Your subconscious brain is saying, you can't do this, you're not worth this, you're not worth this, over and over and over. You still have the same results, you don't have the same results. Every time you do this, do that, over and over and over and over, and eventually they start to work. Okay? That's how business works. But we don't have structure. See, I think one of the biggest blessings for me is I wasn't much of a student. Terrible student. I grew up a C student. I'm being generous, okay? But